Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome back to all lovers of the Sunnah and its sciences to another episode of Hadith Disciple Critical Book Review. The work that we want to share with you in this episode or installment is called Authority of the Sunnah, The Key to Paradise, by Imam Jalal ad-Din as-Suyuti, who died in the year 911 of the Hijrah. Once more, it says Authority of the Sunnah, The Key to Paradise, by Imam Jalal ad-Din as-Suyuti, who died in the year 911. The book is printed by Dar as-Sunnah, and it says on the cover, Dar as-Sunnah Classic Collection. So this is a translation of a book. Obviously, as-Suyuti rahimahullah died many years ago. And obviously, as-Suyuti didn't speak English, or for sure it wasn't his native language. As-Suyuti, Allah have mercy upon him, was from Egypt, as we have explained in his biography that we posted on the channel a few years back, or about a year and a half ago. So therefore, it is a translation of an original work in Arabic. And as we have stated before, when it comes to our critical book review, we normally try to stick with books that are written in English, that are made by an English-speaking author for an English-speaking audience and not translations. However, there have been a few books in which we've actually taken that were actual translations, and this is one of them. So, before we get started, the translation of the book is sound. Alhamdulillah, it's a sound translation. It's good, it's quality, and for the most part, it's accurate. So, we're not discussing the book of Suyuti and critiquing it and grading it. We're only discussing the translation and the presentation of the original work in Arabic. Okay? So as far as the general idea of what we feel about the translation as a whole in general is that it's good. General thumbs up. So, first and foremost, it's 172 pages. 172 pages, the entire work, along with the different appendixes. And it's printed by Dar as-Salam Publishers in Birmingham and the United Kingdom. And this one, it says, first published in Great Britain, January 2017, Rabiul al-Akhir, 1438 of the Hijrah, by Dar as-Sunnah Publishers. So it's from 2017 in the UK. We have 172 pages. We have the cover, the spine, and then we have an excerpt on the back. It says, Authority of the Sunnah, The Key to Paradise, by Imam Jalal ad-Din as-Suyuti, died 911 of the Hijrah. Allah Most High said, and whatever the Messenger has given you, take it, and whatever he has forbidden you, refrain from it. Al-Hashr 59:7. The Prophet ﷺ said, I have not left out anything of which Allah the Most High has commanded you with, except I have apprised you of it. Likewise, I have not left out anything in which Allah has prohibited you from, or from it, except that I have apprised you of it. Al-Bayhaqi 776 and others. Together, the Quran, the Sunnah, is the pivotal foundation and primary source of the Islamic faith. Following both of them is mandated by Allah Himself and obligated upon Muslims to adhere and live accordingly. Muslim theology is established upon them and remains defective and incomplete should either be forsaken, for they both explain and interpret each other. During his time, Imam as-Suyuti felt a genuine need to pen this compelling book and confuting those who either rejected the Sunnah altogether or did not grant it the status and respect it deserves in their religion. He primarily compiled from the works of Imam al-Bayhaqi, elucidating the position of Imam al-Shafi'i, and firmly laid out the arguments supporting the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ by outlining its critical importance, its authority, and implication to one's life. Salvation therefore lies in embracing the Sunnah fully, for indeed it is the key to facilitating our worldly lives and thereafter unlocking the doors of paradise. As Shad says here, Ibn Yahya said perfectly, there is no better way to paradise than the way of those who have followed the Sunnah. The author Imam Abdul Rahman Jalal al-Din al-Suyuti died 911 of the H, was born in 849H, Cairo, Egypt. He was raised as an orphan after the death of his father when he was aged 5. He became a prolific scholar of Hadith and renowned in many sciences, including tafsir, seerah, history, fiqh, medicine, and many others. He was distinguished for his modesty, kindness, righteousness, and piety. May Allah shower His mercy upon him. So that's the back excerpt, and it's very informative about the book and about the author. Then we have says مفتاح الجنة في الاحتجاج بالسنة تأليف خاتمة الحفاظ والمجتهدين مولانا الشيخ جلال الدين السيوطي الشافعي المتوفى سنة 911 الله تغمده الله برحمته آمين. Then we have the title once more in English, and obviously that's not a part of the book, that's my stamp. And we've said this before, that every student of knowledge and every disciple of hadith should have his or her own personalized book stamp. Every student of knowledge, every disciple or disciple of hadith should have their own personalized book stamp. Then it says, Imam Malik said, the sunnah is like the ark of Noah. Whoever embarks upon it shall be saved, and whoever does not do so shall perish. Then we have the information with regards to the copyright, and we have the content. First and foremost is the author's introduction, or the author's introduction. Section 1, whoever rejects the authority of hadith. Section 2, the view of the Zanadiqa and the extremists from the Rafidah. Section 3, speech of Imam al-Shafi'i regarding the Sunnah. Section 4, commentary to the verse. If you disagree over anything, refer to Allah and the Messenger. Section 5, speech of Imam al-Bayhaqi on the argument, Hujjah of the Sunnah. Section 6, refutation of those who say the book of Allah is sufficient. Section 7, the Prophet left us two things. Section 8, farewell exhortation of the Prophet ﷺ. Section 9, the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ has three interpretations. Section 10, the judgments of the Prophet ﷺ. Section 11, he who obeys the Messenger of Allah ﷺ has obeyed Allah. Section 12, commentary on the verse, but no, by your Lord, they will not truly believe until they make you, Muhammad, judge. Section 13, example of the Prophet, that is of a man who built a house and then offered therein a banquet. Section 14, falsification of what is used to remonstrate by those who reject narrations. Section 15, falsification of some narratives. Section 16, the Sunnah is the elaboration of the Quran. Section 17, the companions held firm to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Section 18, the companions took from the Sunnah and what is not clear in the Quran, or what was not clear in the Quran. Section 19, the companions were unanimous in amplifying the prophetic narrations. Section 20, the speech of Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani regarding the Sunnah. Section 21, how the Salaf would travel in order to obtain a single hadith. Section 22, the response of Imam al-Shafi'i regarding consensus as proof in the religion. Section 23, the Quran is dependent on the Sunnah more than the Sunnah is dependent on the Quran. Section 24, the speech of Imam Abu Hanifa regarding the Sunnah. Section 25, not committing to take a decision without referring to the narrations. Chapter 26, the speech of Umar ibn Khattab regarding the Sunnah. Chapter 27, the speech of Ali ibn Abi Talib regarding the religion. Section 28, it is not correct to say why when the narration is authentic. Chapter 29, gaining knowledge, ilm is more beneficial than reciting the Quran. Section 30, Imam Malik's manners when narrating the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Section 31, the order with writing down the Sunnah. Section 32, knowledge is of three types. Section 33, 7 curse upon the tongue of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. Section 34, the first to abandon the Sunnah leaves the religion. Section 35, commentary on the verse, obey Allah and obey the Messenger and those in authority among you. Section 36, follow the Sunnah of your Prophet ﷺ. Section 37, the speech of Sa'd ibn Jubayr regarding the Sunnah. Section 38, the speech of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal regarding the Sunnah. Section 39, do not contradict the Sunnah, simply yield to it. Section 40, the speech of some of the ascetics regarding the Sunnah. Section 41, the Ummah shall not perish except due to the heretics. Section 42, division of the Rafidah into 12 sects. Conclusion, Appendix 1, adherence to the Sunnah and the Jama'ah, Imam Ibn Jawzi. Appendix 2, condemning bid'ah, innovation, and mubtadi'een, innovators, Imam Ibn Jawzi. 1, what are the definitions of Sunnah and bid'ah? 2, the Salaf used to avoid all bid'ah. 3, the division of the people of bid'ah. Index of biographies, index of sects, index of Arabic words. طيب, khairan inshallah. So we have a very detailed and extensive table of contents. So let's get started with the specifics of the book. We have the prose. The first pro of the book, first and foremost, what's meant by the prose of the book is not the work of Suyuti, Al-Hafidh al-Suyuti. We're not discussing him or his work. We're only discussing the prose of the Dar Sunnah translation, how good or how not so good the translation is. So that's a disclaimer. Number 1 is the book has provided information about the author. We've studied many books here on the channel in which they don't mention anything about the author. Even if the author is famous and popular, it never hurts to do it again. Let alone someone like Suyuti, to many English readers who may not be that known, they may not be well known. So it's good that they've provided a good amount of information about his life and his upbringing. Number 2, detailed indexes are provided. Detailed index. Okay. Number 3, the footnotes and the referencing. There are footnotes and there's reference to the number of the hadith, the volume of certain books, certain things that have been mentioned in the footnotes, which helps those who are doing a report or a project or preparing a speech or something like this. After that, the next pro is the original Arabic text have been provided. Okay, meaning the ahadith, tayyib, and also the ayat from the Quran and Kareem, have been provided. And that helps someone who wishes to memorize it or practice on his translation, etc. Then we have the added appendixes, as we've just read. And also we have the quality and accuracy of the translation. So these are all pros of the translation. As far as cons of the translation, then the first is the inaccurate translation of the main title, which is considered to be a con, and it's also a SS, a specific sin. Not a typo, but a specific error, in which it says the authority of the Sunnah, the key to paradise. And a person automatically reads this and thinks that the key to paradise is the authority of the Sunnah, and that is totally erroneous. That's not what it says in Arabic, nor is that the concept of the book in Arabic. The way to paradise is not the authority of the Sunnah. The way to paradise is practicing the Sunnah, implementing the Sunnah, living upon the Sunnah. That's the key to paradise. You being upon the Sunnah, not is the Sunnah illegal, does it have legal force or not? Is the Sunnah, does it enjoy authority in the deen and legislation or not? That's not the key to Jannah. So that's wrong, that's erroneous. Number 2, in English it says Miftahul Jannah fil ihtijaji bis Sunnah. In Arabic we have a book that the first title is the introduction to the actual title of the book. So here we have Sahih al-Bukhari. And one of the most common or most popular explanations and commentaries of Sahih al-Bukhari is called Fathul Bari bi Sharhi Sahih al-Bukhari. And the word Fath al-Bari is going to be symbolic to the work provided by the commentator. And it's going to, in most cases, rhyme with the original title of the book. And it doesn't mean that it is a part of the actual title of the book, and that's what the book is about. The book of Sahih Bukhari and its interpretation is not about Fathul Bari. The Fath, the victory provided, the divine support provided by Allah, who is Al-Bari. The only reason why he says that is because, first of all, Bari rhymes with Bukhari. Secondly, he thought that his book was so prolific, so special, so groundbreaking and amazing that it was a fath from Allah, whose name is Al-Bari. So it says here, Miftahul Jannah, the key to paradise. Fil ihtijaji bis Sunnah. And it doesn't say Miftahul Jannah as-Sunnah or Miftahul Jannah al-Ihtijaji bis Sunnah. That's wrong. Rather, the Miftahul Jannah, key to paradise, is the rhythmic title. Everybody understand this? It's the rhythmic title. It sounds good and it's also symbolic. The key to paradise, going to paradise, is implementing Sunnah. But it says, Fil ihtijaji bis Sunnah. So that's wrong. That's incorrect. And I don't know how the translators fell into that error. Number 2, we have no available information about the translator whatsoever. Who translated the book? Was it one person? Was it 2 people? 3 people? A man? A woman? What are their qualifications? Where did they study Arabic? Where did they study English? Who overlooked it? Who edited it? Nothing is provided. And that is a very common theme, I would say, among most of the books that we've studied, which are translations. Number 3 is no information provided about the original Arabic edition from which they translated the book. Which copy of it is it? The second print, the third print, what sheikh, who made the tahqiq of the book? There's nothing provided about the Arabic work. The 4th con of the book is the vowels and diacritical marks aren't in the Arabic text for the quoted narrations. And that's going to be a challenge for those who want to read the hadith. And those who don't have that strong grammar yet. And they're not that independent in sarf and things like this. They need the vowels. Let alone, we have books in Arabic for people that are scholars. And the tashkilat are in the book. Such as in this copy of Sahih Bukhari. The tashkilat is in every single hadith. Every hadith we have the what? We have the tashkilat. Abu Nu'aym binahwin min nisfi hadha al-hadithi. And this book is studied by scholars, students of knowledge, hadith specialists and experts, and they put in the tashkil, let alone a book that's being translated and given to the layman Muslim. The next con of the book is the discrepancy regarding the author's title. It says Imam Jalaluddin As-Suyuti. Now once more, Hadith Disciple and Hadith Disciple critical book review playlist is not made for talking about people and criticizing people. It is not made for this one's aqidah and this one's view and his madhab. That's not what it's for. But it's an error here, a scientific error. And that is that they called him Imam. And we know, according to what many ulama say, that an Imam in the deen, mimman yuqtada bihi, is someone whose example is followed, someone who's a leader, someone who's a lighthouse, a beacon of light. In most cases, someone whose aqidah is totally sound. Totally sound. And if the aqidah is not totally sound, he made an error or a mistake or two here, there, but in general, his aqidah is sound. His practice was sound. And that isn't necessarily the case, according to what many people say about As-Suyuti, rahimahullah. And they say that his aqidah was that of Ahl Tafweed. He was a Mufawwidh. They say he was a person, not like those who affirmed the meanings of Allah's names and attributes in a befitting manner. Not like those who affirmed the meanings of Allah's names and attributes in a distorted, unbefitting manner. Nor was he from those who interpreted them. Yadullahi fawqa aydihim. Allah's hand is over their hands. Yani Allah's quwwah, Allah's power. Lima khalaqtu biyaday. He said, why didn't you prostrate to that which I created with my hands? Meaning Allah's power. It doesn't mean Allah has a hand. A jariha. ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ. يعني استولى على العرش. Allah conquered the throne. He didn't actually rise above it. Etc. The ta'wilat, the false interpretations that are made by Ahlul Kalam and the people who follow Ahlul Kalam. He wasn't from none of these groups, right, wrong, left wing, right wing, but he was from those who made total tafweed, in which they said Allah knows best what it means. We don't know what it means. We don't have the interpretation, the understanding in Arabic. Who knows what it means? We believe in it and we just leave it to Allah. And as many ulama have said, this was the worst of the aqidah, for a person to make tafweed. And they actually basically said that the Quran and Sunnah have no meaning. The verses about Allah's names and attributes, the hereafter, all these things, they have what? No meaning whatsoever. And this was well known about the aqidah of As-Suyuti. And there were other mistakes and problems that he had with his aqidah as well. So one may say it's unbefitting to place the title Imam in front of him. When I was in the College of Hadith, when we were reading Tadrib al-Rawi, studying the book on Mustalah, Ilm al-Hadith, and one brother, he read, قال الإمام السيوطي. And the doctor, the professor, he stopped him. And he says, don't say Imam Suyuti. وَلَكِنْ قُلْ الْحَافِظ السيوطي. There's no doubt that Suyuti was a hafiz. He was a tremendous scholar, a major memorizer of hadith. He was a genius, a total prodigy. But was he an imam? Was he an imam? Someone that was safe and sound on a straight path? That's a different story. So the point is, the translators and the publishing house, they're not forced to take this point. They're just like they're not forced to take any point that we bring up. But this is shedding light upon that. And we humbly feel that it shouldn't be like that. And Al-Hafidh As-Suyuti. Then obviously, once this door is opened up, many other doors are going to be opened up, such as Nawawi. Can you say Imam Nawawi? Can you say Imam Bayhaqi? Can you say this? Or you say Al-Hafidh An-Nawawi. Khayr, we're not here to discuss Aqidah right now. We're not here to discuss Allah's names and attributes. We're not here to discuss As-Suyuti and his creed, innovator. We're not here to discuss that right now. But we're talking about that which pertains to the actual presentation of the work in English. The next con of the book is inconsistent footnotes and commentary. Certain footnotes says that it's sahih or da'if. Certain footnotes give number, others give page and volume, etc. It's not a consistent theme of the footnotes. Also, we don't have any information about who made the footnotes. Who is this speaking? Al-Bayhaqi, Al-Madkhal, Tarikh al-Kabir, Al-Ijluni said the narration. Who is this? Is it the editor? Is it Sheikh Albani? Is it Suyuti himself? Who's speaking in the footnotes? We have no information about that. And in most books in English that are translated from the classical times are like this as well. It's a consistent theme in most translations. And that is a scientific error. That's a scientific con. Tayyib. Then also we have lack of disclaimer and clarification regarding fabricated and weak narrations. And to be honest, this book of Suyuti, rahimahullah, and other books, let's say the books of Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Rajab, Ibn Taymiyyah, but especially someone like Ibn Rajab As we said in the Sharh of Fadl Ilm al-Salaf ala Ilm al-Khalaf, those books are going to be full of narrations which are not sahih. Full of them. Okay? Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi rahimahullah ta'ala and Sharaf Ashab al-Hadith. Okay? His book here is full of weak narrations, and many of them are fabricated. Mawdu'a. And there are certain chapters in which the main proof for the chapter is fabricated. And the muhaqqiq is going to say in the footnotes, isnaduhu da'if. Isnaduhu talif. Its chain is totally rejected. Hadithun mawdu'. Isnaduhu kadha. And he explains why was it permissible and what was the rationale of the author to mention those weak and terrible hadiths in his book. And that is because in the Western world, the brothers and the sisters, in most cases, they've propagated and they've spread and they've made the main orthodox views, the views of Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, of the modern day ulama of hadith. And Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, it was well known, he was of the view weak hadiths are to be separated from sahih hadiths. There's no mixing, there's no intermingling, total segregation, sahih and da'if. So yeah, Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, he has Sunan Abi Dawood. This is the Sahih Sunan Abi Dawood, and this 3 volumes is Da'if Sunan Abi Dawood. Okay? This is Sahih al-Tirmidhi and Da'if al-Tirmidhi. Sahih al-Targhib and Da'if al-Targhib. And he spoke on his view and his opinion, which is the view of many ulama of the past, is that weak narrations are not to be mentioned, let alone fabricated narrations. And he who mentions weaker fabricated narrations has done this. He's attributed to the Prophet that. The general people don't understand what's Da'if, what's Sahih, even if you make a clarification. So now, when the general person has been fed this information in this one view, because there are other views, one view, and he reads the book of Ibn Rajab, or Ibn Qayyim, or Ibn Taymiyyah, or Imam Ahmad, as we've seen certain books, and he reads it in the footnote, says, Albani says it's da'if. Albani says it's fabricated. What is this? Fabricated, da'if? This is not an imam, this is not a scholar. And then he's going to fall into confusion. And everything he was taught no longer applies. So who's right, Albani or Ibn Rajab? Can we use da'if hadith? It leaves the reader in a total state of chaos. And it has to be a disclaimer in the beginning of the book that the author is of the view of the permissibility of mentioning weak narrations. The author is of the view of the permissibility of quoting a fabricated hadith with the chain of narration. For example, as many scholars give details on, the author wrote this book for scholars and not for laymen. But leaving no disclaimer, no clarification is going to leave the general layman reader in a great deal of chaos and confusion. Inshallah, everyone can ponder upon those words. Khairan, inshallah. Then we have the notable quotes. There are many notable quotes. And we didn't discuss the content of the book because that's in Arabic, and the book is full of athar, loaded with athar from every single page. Also on page 16 here, at the end of his biography, we didn't mention that in the Khan list, says his aqidah. Nothing is mentioned. And it says here, As-Suyuti, where he was born, his teachers, his books, his character, his disposition, he was modest, he was kind and righteous, all the things, but not his what? Not his aqidah, one of the most important things. And we don't get into any other issues with regards to dawah and with regards to the UK and the importance of only taking from someone who has the correct aqidah, and the translators, they left that out. Tayyib. Page 17, the first notable quote. The author says, no, may Allah have mercy on you, that in knowledge there is something similar to medicine and cure. In opinions, there is open space in adopting valid positions. They should not be borne to mind except when a need arises. Next notable quote is page 107. Narrated Al-Bazar and Abu Ya'la on the authority of Zayd ibn Aslam radiallahu anhu, who said, I saw Ibn Umar with unfastened shirt buttons, and said, I saw the Prophet with loosened buttons. The Prophet did it, I'm going to do it. Why did he do it? How did he do it? Not important, I'm going to do it. Page 136. Sahl ibn Abdullah said, courage is to follow the sunnah. Allahu Akbar. That's true courage, to be brave following the sunnah. Also on page 136, Abu Hafs said, the best help a servant can take from his master is to prove his poverty in front of Allah at all times, to persist upon the sunnah in all acts, and to ask for provision through permissible ways. Allahu Akbar. Page 118 as well, and that's the last one that we'll mention because they said there are many. Narrated on the authority of Al-Hasan, who said, words are not justified except by deeds. And the word, the deed, and the intention are not justified except by sunnah. As far as the specific sins, then first and foremost is on page 102. It says in the footnotes, Al-Haythami said the chain contains a narrator whose status is unknown. Majma' al-Zawaid, volume 1, page 152. Al-Albani said the narration was munkar, disowned. Silsila ahadith al-Da'ifa. As we just said, munkar, unknown, disavowed, layman person in the book, no clarification. That's just an example of that. Also on page 103, it says Ibn Adi said he's unaware of a narrator in the chain. Al-Kamil, volume 2, page 241. Ibn Hajar said that the chain contained a very weak narrator. Al-Matalib al-Aliyah, volume 3, page 310. Al-Albani said that it was mawdu', fabricated. Da'if al-Jami' al-Saghir, number 5504. Those are the examples that we're not exaggerating and making things up against the author or the translator. Page 95. Also in the footnotes, Ibn Abi Dunya, Al-Amr bil Ma'ruf, number 83, Al-Bayhaqi, Shu'ab al-Iman, 6878, who said it was marfu'. What does that mean? Who wrote that? What's the status of that hadith, of that narration? Then we have on page 118, and we can see that most of the errors are in the footnotes and not in the actual translation of the book. References of all following statements are found in Al-Lalakai Sharh Usul I'tiqad, volume 1. Starting with what number? Volume 1, starting on what page? You can say starting on page 22 on forward. Volume 1, how many pages are in the first volume? Then we have page 80. It says, Abu Dawood, number 3593. Musnad Ahmed, volume 5, page 236. Darimi, number 17, and others. Ibn Abdul Barr said it was well known and sahih. Jami' Bayan al-Ilm, volume 2, 844. Ibn Kathir said it was Hasan, and it has been mentioned via other routes. Irshad al-Fiqhiyya. Irshad al-Faqih, what is that supposed to be? Volume 2, page 396. Tahawi said it was Sahih. Sharh Mushkil Athar, 9212. Ibn Taymiyyah said it was Sahih. Al-Majmu' al-Fatawa. And that's a mistake linguistically. There is no Al-Majmu' Fatawa. Majmu' al-Fatawa. Majmu' al-Fatawa. Tayyib? Or just Al-Majmu'. Ibn Taymiyyah fil Majmu'. And Allah knows best. Volume 13, page 364. Al-Dhahabi said the chain was Hasan and the meaning was Sahih. Talkhis al-Ilal, number 269. Ibn Hajar said it was Gharib, while other witnesses made it Sahih. Other witnesses. Shawahid, yani? What type of translation is that? Other witnesses. When I say witness in English, I'm thinking about a person. And that's not what's meant in Ibn Hadith. Ash-Shawahid wal-Mutaba'at. Or al-Mutaba'at wal-Shawahid. So that's another error. It says here, al-Bayt mawquf. Mawafiq al-Khabar al-Khabar. Is that Muwafiq or Muwafaqatu? So several different errors here in the Roman transliteration. Volume 1, page 119, Al-Bukhari said the narration is not correct and known only to be mursal, due to an unknown narrator in the chain. Is that the definition of mursal? An unknown narrator in the chain? Is that the technical definition of mursal according to the ulama, the mutaqaddimin and the mutaakhirin? Who used the word mursal because of someone who's majhul? It then says Du'afa al-Kabir, volume 1, page 215. Ibn Hazm said in his Usul al-Ahkam, volume 2, 204, that the narration was batil, invalid, and without basis. Ibn Jawzi concluded the same in his Al-Ilal, volume 2, page 758. Therefore, disparate opinions exist. Okay, some of them say this batil, made up hadith. Others say it's Hasan, others say it's Sahih. So therefore, there are different views, and you figure it out as the layman reader. After that, we have page 111. And perhaps this will be the last one that we'll mention. Ad-Darimi, or Al-Darimi, number 117. Al-Iraqi said the narration was mursal. Takhrij al-Ihya, page 104. He continued, the meaning can be considered sound as per the narration of Ibn Mas'ud radhiyallahu anhu, recorded by Al-Tabarani and Ibn Abdul Barr. A similar variant is also found on the authority of Abdurrahman ibn Yazid and An-Nasai, volume or number 5397, who graded it is, we have a typo, whose grade it is, that's an English grammatical error now, is Jayyid. And similar on the authority of Qadi Shuraih, which Albani graded as Sahih Mawquf. What is Sahih Mawquf? Did the Prophet say it or not? If he says Sahih Mawquf, that means that the companion said it and not the Prophet. So a person is going to be totally confused thinking that Albani said it's authentic from the Prophet's words. And that is a world of difference between the two. A world of difference between the two. It then says, Albani stated in Silsila al-Hadith al-Da'ifa, page 1244, the meaning is correct in respect to exerting effort, making ijtihad in absence of clear text. Note, the narration is implying the importance of communal consultation, shura, among the learned who are known for righteousness and piety, and that a decision may not be decided upon a singular or private opinion. These narrations confirm shura, and this includes the hadith of Mu'adh ibn Jabal, radiallahu anhu, see footnote number 86. So we have commentary, explanation, harmony. There's no conflict, but not throughout the entire book and all of the footnotes. So these are the main specific sins that we found. And as you can see, all of them have been mentioned in the actual footnotes and not the author's work or the actual title and the cover translation. Khairun inshallah. With that being said, with regards to the translation as a whole, we give it 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 quills. It's a good translation with exceptions to those errors and those things that need to be fixed. But besides that, it's a very good translation and an excellent book to have in your library. And in my humble opinion, very, very relative to 2018 and the Dawah scene and how Islam is understood, propagated, and practiced today. Allah surely knows best. Thank you very much for watching.